when you look at it objectively, this world, this universe are full of marvels. If you sincerely study science, cosmology, biology, the rhythm of life, the death and rebirth of things, it's really beautiful how the universe came about and so forth. Some scientists want to concentrate very much, let it be only on what we can see under a microscope or a telescope. But there are still areas that are a little bit fuzzy, which are worth looking at, because they are very interesting and they could tell us about some other dimensions of existence. One of them is what is called near-death experiences, which has been investigating in very, very interesting ways, and we'll talk about it. Now, before I go into it in some detail, let us first of all get rid what is superfluous, what is just a bit silly, really we can use the word a bit new agey stuff and so forth. Now, when I'm talking of near-death experiences, we are talking of people, mostly in hospital surroundings, that have been declared clinically dead, with all the machines attached to them ceasing functioning. So cardiovascular was not functioning anymore, the cardiogram was not giving the wave, that means the heart had stopped. There was no cerebral, waves, and there was no respiratory activity whatsoever. So as far as the definition of death is concerned, that fully met it. Now, if later on the concept of what is death changes, we'll look into that. But so far, this is how it goes. Now, so when we talk of near-death experiences, we are talking of people who have had total cessation of life in a hospital surrounding, because very often a very heavy heart attack, and then sometimes when all the machines' noise had come to a standstill, after a few minutes, with the great surprise of everyone, beep, 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 life started again. Now, many of those people don't recollect what happened because also they were under very heavy sedation. But some, and quite a few, recollected a certain type of experience which is really universal, meaning you get somebody in Alaska which had had a genuine near-death experience, and somebody in Japan who have never met together, who have never read anything about it, and they will describe the same kind of experience. So this goes for near-death experiences, and they have been investigated with thousands and thousands of cases. Now, what this is not, and I was talking about this kind of New Age airy theory, is stories, mythical stories of people going, that they dreamt, going on a kind of flying dragon and visiting universes and going to places and so forth. Those were just very, very vivid dreams or even hallucinations. So we are talking of something scientifically and medically quite solid. And so we can let go of that. Also, what we have to be very careful is also people that say, oh, I was feeling ill, and I had a very bad headache, or I had a high fever, and then I had this experience that I left the body. That again is not near-death experiences. Very often those narrations are used in I have to say, a bit of a rather dishonest way by religious people, because they say, oh, I had a high fever and I had this astral travel and I met such and such a prophet or person who said it's only by following me that you will be free. So they will try to smuggle using something that did not happen, to convert you. So that is very dishonest. Now, I'd like to mention also something fascinating, because it's for many years, doctors throughout the world, there is a cardiologist who narrates on YouTube. You can easily find his video. This cardiologist tells of a cardiac arrest, a person who died under his care, and as he was in another room doing certain things with some colleagues, and the person had died, there was no activity in the other room, they suddenly heard be again. The person had come back alive after quite a while. And he narrated to them, he said, I left the body and you guys were doing such and such a thing in that other room. That's what you spoke about, that's what you did, and it was correct. You see? And that really surprised him. He said, what on earth is that? That is unbelievable. But the thing is this, that this has happened tens of thousands of times. Now, 4 years ago, at the Medical University of Southampton in UK, a group of doctors, in collaboration with numerous other hospitals throughout the world, said, let's experiment, let's do 4 years of research and compare notes about this phenomenon of near-death experiences. When it was announced, some of my friends that are very skeptical on things like this, they said, oh, finally we'll debunk, this myth about existence after death and so forth. We'll debunk it. But to their surprise, after 4 years, the results came out. And what the doctor said, they said, look, we have heard many narrations of near-death experiences, and yes, some of them you can say maybe it was still some activity in the brain happening, but what we cannot explain are those people who were outside their body and then describe events with great exactitude that happened in other areas of the hospital and were 100% correct. That cannot be explained scientifically, and we need this time, because we were a bit, skeptical about it, but we need now, without prejudice, really repeat this research. Amazing, isn't it? So, it was important. I've given you an idea of what it is and what it isn't. So, some of these people, or many of the people throughout the world and throughout the ages, have experienced going into a state of death, and sometimes in modern hospital as well, because of different fibrillation machines and so forth, maybe sometime it is also possible to bring somebody from the brink of death or in a state of death, of body death, of no activity, to bring them back alive. Some people just come back alive, mystery of nature. And so what have a lot of these people got in common in their narration? Now, it might not be all of them, but something quite common is this. So you go through the fear, you go through the anxiety, then you let go, you enter into the state of death, and then many of them, they see themselves outside their body. And it's usually a very liberating experience. It's like, actually, look, this is who I really am, pure energy, And they see sometimes the body just as pure light. Still there are the contours of the body, but it's more like pure light. After that, after they have been wandering for some time around the area, they are somehow called, taken in some kind of tunnel. So it's like they are passing into another dimension, different state of energy, different state of matter. And what happens here is very beautiful, very touching. They are faced by a light, normally. Some people, they see it more as kind of a transparent figure. Some people with a background in Christianity will call it Jesus, Buddhists will call it Buddha, Hindus will see it as Krishna, that is our own interpretation. But what happens there, and it really tells you what really spiritual purity is, or what the aim of life is, this voice is not condemnatory. It doesn't condemn you, doesn't point a finger, but it simply helps you to go through numerous events in your life. And it's done in a telepathic way. You see it, it happens within you. It's not that he chats, he talks, or there is a voice. You go in front of this figure of purity through your life. And what happens, what you strongly feel, is the unnecessary hurt that you have created in any form of life, animals, humans, even our natural surroundings and so forth. And you are given a chance, you are encouraged in a very loving way to say sorry. And what you see is quite incredible, because there are so many things in our life we don't realize that we are doing, which is hurtful. When we push people, when we put them down, when we are cruel, and we just think, oh, it's fun, it's perfectly okay, but it isn't. Because the pain that we create in others as a vibration comes into our own soul, into our own spirit, and it stays with us. So this is what we are seeing, is a reflection of all that pain that is within us. And it is quite nice, and I like to mention something that Jesus says. I'm not talking Christianity as it was made, Pauline Christianity, that you just believe in something and babong, you are free. But I like to talk about the things that Jesus said in the Gospels. And he talked very much of becoming aware of the suffering that we create. And first of all, he said, all of my teachings, all the commandments I give you are concentrated in this law. Do unto others what you would like to do others unto you. Because then you are in synchrony, you are in harmony with life. You can feel pain, you can feel true joy, and you know where you are walking. You know where you are going. You know when you are accumulating pain, and you know when you are throwing seeds of liberation, of joy. And then again he said, you will be judged by your words, and your words come from your heart and what is inside your heart. So it means that you will judge yourself. The pain that you have created, these people that goes into horrific conspiracies, and they really work to make people be suspicious of each other, of hate each other. He will say that's very much a product of your inner being, of who you are. So your action, your words is what is within you. That will judge you. And again, Buddha spoke about karma and so forth. So what you are seeing in here, into this near-death experience, out-of-the-body experience, is this becoming for real. You are put in front of the things that you have done, that we have done, and you are given a chance to go one by one and truly repent. And it's quite amazing, because sometimes you are put in front of things you never thought it was a sin, it was hurtful, but it was. People were getting hurt in that process. So you're given a chance to see it and to say sorry, And many people get this sensation that there is, rebirth. That somehow, if they have said sorry and they have received more light, more love, they can come back and undo it, and come back as long as it takes to really undo all of that, and go back into the light and live a life of a certain strength of love and harmony, where we see that we are in others and others are in us, this unity, this oneness of life, this universal law, treat others as you would like to be treated. That's what you live by, not some kind of religious book reading, but it's something much deeper, which really vibrates within us. So after that, what people say is that very often then they enter into this other dimension, and they very often see people they knew, parents and so forth, relatives who have not reincarnated yet, and were really welcoming them. However, once they get through that stage, then somebody tells them, could be the relatives, their friends there, look, actually your time hasn't come yet. You have been given a glimpse for some particular reason, but now go back. You still have got some time left on earth. And many of these people, when they come back, they're not very happy. It's like, wow, the joy, the happiness we saw there. It was amazing, and all right, I'll go back. Now, another interesting thing that I read about the experiences of these people is that some people become quite stubborn and they refuse to see those things which are being shown, which their own heart is showing them in a way, because that light is part of who they are as well. It's not just external. But it's like, no, I didn't do that, it's all their fault and so forth. And they become very entrenched in their feelings of hostility, in their destructive feelings. Those are the people that for a while can go into a bad trip, till many of them, they just do not repent, but many of them then after some suffering they go, okay, I give up. All right? Now, many religious people, not many, but there are quite a few, that believe that you're only be free by believing in something, not by following the teachings of Jesus or of Buddha about being one with the rest of creation and vibrating in a creative and loving way, and somehow cleansing and purifying ourselves. They believe, no, it's just by, you believe this and that's it, that frees you. You see? Now, and if you don't believe what I believe, no matter how good you are, no matter how loving you are, you're going to go to hell. Wow, amazing. Amazing how someone can believe that. You see? So, those people, they hate this kind of experiences. And they very often, I heard them say, oh, that's from the devil. Okay, let's have a look. What I have seen is, or what I've heard, what I've studied, and also speaking with a couple of people that went through that, is that people that come out of near-death experiences, they become completely new, changed people, still being the same person as before, but they are a lot more loving. Their life really acquires meaning in spontaneously giving of their help, of their love to others. They don't want to do it to be appreciated or to be compensated in any way. They do it because this is now who they are after they have seen what was shown to them. So they become a lot better people. And again, going back to the teachings of Jesus, not of the other people that wrote the New Testament that have got nothing to do with him, but the teaching of Jesus in the Gospel, you'll know them by their fruits. So these people that have come back from near-death experiences, you know that they are coming back from something that was beautiful, that was pure, that has opened their horizons, and that has opened their hearts. So I hope that you have found some inspiration. This kind of knowledge has given me a lot of it, because at the end of the day, even if one day someone has to prove to me, or someone proves to me, that there is something not true about it, that it was just some kind of brain activity. Again, I don't know how they can be outside the body and see things, they couldn't have seen just from their body. But anyhow, if somebody can prove me that, I will still say, okay, fine, I love science, spiritual science too, and I accept the truth, I accept facts. But it still is a beautiful experience to have. It's still beautiful to live according to those principles, to live according to the eternal law. Do unto others as you would like others to do unto you, and don't do unto others what you wouldn't like others to do unto you. So it's still a beautiful message to live this way, and it can only do you good. So I hope that this will contribute to open you up a little bit, that will give a message to people. Let's find this oneness, this love that brings us together. Let's not bash each other with books and saying, this is correct, no, that is correct, yours is corrupted, no, yours is corrupted. And instead, start living a life which has some empathy, some lovingness, and which has got some creativity in it. So, we'll talk again, and have a wonderful life, although it gets a bit painful at times, but see always at the silver lining. Thank you.